Hey everybody, today I'm going to be unboxing and walking you through the wireless GPS pet fence system from the company MyPetCommand. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you the box, and then I'll go through and show you all of the items that you get. And then I will go outside and set up the GPS unit and walk you through the setup of this unit. So first thing we get is an ultrasonic dog whistle, a wall outlet that works with the USB charging cable to charge the unit, a reflective nylon collar strap, and this should work for any dog with a neck size of 6 to 25 inches. It is adjustable so you can fit it according to your dog. You get a couple different sets of prongs in here. You can see that there are some longer prongs, there's some shorter prongs, and then they also give you a set of plastic prongs. This is basically so you can fit it according to the dog that you're putting it on. They also give you this bulb tester. What this is for is if you're looking to use the shock feature on this collar, instead of shocking yourself to see if it's working, you can put this bulb up against the prongs and it will light up and let you know whether or not it's receiving a shock. We'll look at the collar last. The bottom here, we've got a couple different things. You've got an instruction manual. The company does have an email address as well as an 800 number if you've got any questions, problems when you're setting it up. And then they also give you a diagram of how this unit works. So this is an outdoor pet barrier. This is not designed to be used for indoor use. They do sell an indoor pet barrier if you're looking for indoor, but this one here is strictly for outdoor. And the main reason for that is because it's going to be using GPS satellites to set a location and set a barrier for that location, and you're not going to be able to do that indoor because it's hard to connect to satellites and get an accurate connection. What we're going to be doing is we're going to go outside. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to determine a location that's going to be our center point. We're going to set that center point, and then we are going to determine a range of a barrier that our dog can travel. Once it gets to the end of that barrier, the GPS unit will go off and let them know that they need to return to a different, come back inside the barrier. The barrier size can be anywhere from 30 to 1,000 meters, so you can use it in a backyard as well as in a bigger area if you've got something like a farm or something like that. Let's take a look at the GPS unit. The back here is going to be where you're going to plug in the USB cable to charge it. And then it's pretty simple. We'll go through all the different settings once I get it charged up. It recommends you charge it 4 to 6 hours before the first use. You should get about 15 to 20 hours of use after it's been fully charged. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna charge it and then we'll go outside and get it set up. Okay, we've fully charged our GPS unit. Now we're ready to go outside and set up a outdoor barrier for our dog. The first thing I would recommend is walk around your yard, figure out how big of a barrier you want to set, and try and figure out where you want the center of that barrier to be. Now, the larger the barrier, the better your GPS collar is going to work. This collar is designed for larger areas. It's not designed for a small yard. Again, you're setting a barrier between 30 meters and 1,000 meters. So what we're going to do is once we find that center location that we want for our barrier, we're going to get to that location, press and hold the power button. That will turn on the GPS. Now what you should see is what I'm seeing right here, double blinking zeros. Now they can blink for a while. It just depends on where you're at and how long it takes you to connect to some satellites. You'll notice in mine, they blink for a couple of seconds. Now all of a sudden they stop at 00. What it's doing right now is it's connecting to satellites and it's locking in my position. That's going to be the center of my barrier. When you see these 4 dots, that basically means that it's locked in that position, and now you can see how many satellites you're connected to. I was connected to 8, then it went to 7. This number will continue to fluctuate. You can also see that there's now a lock icon on my GPS. That tells me that I have locked in my position and it is now stored in my memory. So now that we've got our GPS location for the center of our barrier saved, we can go through our settings. If I press the M button, that will take me up here to where I can toggle the different settings for the beep, the vibrate, and the shock. You don't have to use all of those. If you don't want to do shock, you don't have to. If you don't want to use vibrate, you don't have to, so on and so forth. So I'm going to press the M. That'll take me to the beep. And then I can simply press the up or down buttons on the right hand side to turn it off or turn it on. Same thing with vibrate. I've got a off, low, medium, high. If I press M again, it'll take me to shock. Again, I can turn it off, low, medium, high. Set it to whatever value you want. Once you get done setting it, just leave the GPS for a second. It'll take you back to the main screen and we've set it. The other thing we need to do is, now that we've got our center location saved, we can press and hold the M button and we can set our barrier. So you can see mine's blinking 9. I can use the up or down buttons to adjust that. Basically what this number is it's the equivalent of the number times 10 meters. The lowest you can do is 3, which is 30 meters, and you can go all the way up to 100, which is 1,000 meters, or roughly a half a mile. So I'm going to just set mine to 3. Once you've got the value saved, again, let it just sit there, and you've successfully set your GPS. Now at this point, what I would do is I've set my center location, I've set my boundary. I would go walk to the end of that boundary and make sure that the GPS vibrates or beeps, whatever I've got it set to up here. That way you know that your boundary is set accordingly. Once you know that, then you can put the collar on your dog and you should be ready to go. In a second here, we'll see that the screen will turn off. It'll basically go into a low power mode. It'll still be on, but it won't show you all of this information that's on the screen. So I'll wait for a second so you can see that. Then we'll look at how to reset our coordinates. This device has a built-in memory, so it will always remember the location that you've got saved. So tomorrow, when I come out, all I have to do is turn on the GPS unit, let it connect. It'll put it back in the saved location that I've got. Once it's successfully connected, then I can go ahead and put it back on my dog. And that's what it looks like when it goes into low power mode. So you can see that the screen's still on. It still blinks occasionally to let me know that the GPS is on, but we don't see all of the other values that we saw while it was being set and while we were setting our parameters. Okay, so we looked at how to set the GPS collar, but what if we need to reset it? The one thing I'll mention is this GPS collar has a built-in memory, and what's great about that is when you turn it on, once you've got your center of your radius established, it'll always remember that GPS location and re-establish that same center location. But it's recommended every couple of weeks that you erase that and re-establish your center location. The reason for that is the satellites can tend to drift, and as a result, your center location can be off. So every couple of weeks, we'll reset our device. The other reason you might need to reset it is maybe you go to a different location. Maybe you've got multiple houses, or maybe you want to go to the park, something like that, and you want to set a new center location and a new barrier. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to turn on our GPS unit. Now, whereas before we didn't see a lock, we're seeing a lock now because we've established a center location and we've saved it onto our GPS collar. So my GPS collar is on. If I want to reset it, again, I'm going to go to the location that I want to set a new center of my radius for. Once I'm at that location, I'm going to press the M and power button and hold them down at the same time. And you'll see the GPS collar will reset back to the blinking 0, and there will not be a lock icon on the bottom. It's basically erased what was saved in there, and it's reestablishing my center location. You're going to go through the same steps we went through earlier to set the location and then adjust our settings and our barrier size as needed. This is a waterproof collar. It's IPX67 waterproof. So once you've got your barrier set and you've tested it, you can put it on your dog. Your dog can roam around outside regardless of what the weather's like, and the collar will be fine. It's always recommended to turn the collar on and let it connect to the GPS satellites, even when you've got your location saved, before putting it on your dog. So in my case, I've got my location saved, it's connected to the GPS satellites, everything's good now. Now would be the time to put it on your dog. You don't want to put it on your dog, turn on the power, and then just let your dog roam around while it's trying to connect to the GPS satellites. I hope the video helps.